Our second speaker today is the founder of the award-winning Yeovil-based children's garden club School Beans, CTC. And that is spelt with a Z, because it's cool. CIC. Spoilers. This came after she completed a diploma in social and therapeutic horticulture and after working for acclaimed no-dig gardener Charles Dowding, who is going to be on this stage later today, and we are excited for it. She's inspired by Greta Thunberg and the millions of children around the world standing up for our planet in their Fridays for Future campaign, and she wanted to do something to help her community and the nature within it. And she also looks absolutely fabulous today, I think we can all agree. Can you tell who it is yet? Please, we are very excited. So please go wild, put your hands together, give a warm Yo Valley welcome for Lara Honnor.
Hello, everyone. I am so grateful that you're all here because obviously the Queen is here, Frances Tophill. I would have liked to have gone to watch her, so I'm really grateful that you are all here. Welcome. Okay, let's start. So my name's Lara, and I run School Beans Children's Garden. Oh, it worked. In just outside Yeovil. So it's allotments in my village of Chilthorne-Domer. And I'm going to tell you how I started this gardening club and how I managed to get over the allotment politics and start a children's garden on allotments in my village. So School Beans, it's a gardening club for children aged 4 up to 13, but actually we don't have a cap. We don't say you're 13, you can't come anymore, you're 14. Children keep coming when they're teenagers. It's a no-dig allotment, so the children know all about no-dig, and we work in harmony with nature. And the children learn how to grow vegetables and beautiful flowers, and we teach them how to garden to help nature. And we do loads of upcycled art, and the most important thing at School Beans is that the children have fun, so that is always the objective. So I want the children to experience happy childhood gardening memories, and if they're doing that, they're going to grow up to be gardeners, because that's what my parents did for me. So I was doing a diploma in social and therapeutic horticulture, and this is the process of using plants and gardens to improve physical and mental health, as well as communication and thinking skills. So it was a really interesting course. We focused on elderly people with dementia or veterans suffering from PTSD, and I wasn't sure of what I wanted to focus on, and I was interested in prisons and reform, and this young lady was all over the news, and I found her incredibly inspiring. She was speaking more sense than most adults around the world, and she still speaks so much sense. And her Fridays for Futures movement made me think, I've got to do something. I've got to do something for my community. I'm not very good at politics, but I know how to garden. Why don't I teach children how to garden? So I contacted, in the month that I graduated from this diploma, I contacted the local primary school in my village. It was just across the field, and offered to start running an after-school gardening club. And with statistics, so whilst I was doing my studying, the UK, we all know, with just half of its biodiversity remaining, is one of the most nature-depleted countries on the planet. I mean, I look at the fields around us near Yeovil, and it's kind of like a green desert. And it's now 1 in 5 children and young people suffer from a diagnosable mental health condition. And it's no coincidence that the less time we spend in nature and the more we destroy nature, the worse our mental and physical well-being is going to be affected. And obviously, the more children spend on screens, it's just a recipe for a mental health crisis. So with that was also why I was like, I need to focus on children. And if I teach children how to garden, not only is it going to improve their physical and mental well-being, it's going to help our precious nature as well, which is in decline. So it's just this amazing win-win situation. So I started running this after-school club, didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I just wanted it to be fun. And with that in mind, we had loads of fun, and it was going from strength to strength. There was about 10 children or 15 children in the group every Friday after school. And then COVID kicked in. And so we went into strict lockdown. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start selling plants on my doorstep to raise money for the gardening club when we start back, when the lockdown's over. And then a parish councillor in the village said to me, why don't you take on an allotment? And I was like, what allotments? And he said, the allotments in the village. I had been walking past this, if you see the picture. These are what the allotments look like. So there were 10 plots, and literally only 2 were being used, 1 on each end, and it was just all overgrown grass. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take one on. And this is what it looked like. So 30 meters long, 6 meters wide. And I had just been working for Charles. The King is going to be here today as well. King Charles Dowding. He is, I worked for him for 2 summers, and it was life-changing. When I entered his garden, it was like entering something out of a children's storybook with cabbages the size of baby elephants, and it was like the Brussels sprouts were waving at me and the kale was dancing. So I was like, I want to recreate that for children. So it got me thinking that children's gardens don't exist. So we have children's playgrounds, like you go to the RHS gardens, we don't have children's gardens. So we've got forest schools all over the world, yeah, but they are over the world, all over the country, but we don't have children's gardens and gardening clubs all over the country. So gardens designed especially for children. So gardens that are brightly coloured, that have lots of texture, taste, smell, and where a child can see all the vegetables growing. So they can see the beetroot bed, the cabbage bed, everything is there, and they can pick, they can help sow. So I was like, okay, I'm going to create a garden especially for children. So because we're no dig, the local farmers gave us leftover silage plastic. We covered the plots, and then I used up my savings. I bought deliveries of council compost, and that's what it looked like after, I think that was about 6 months. Raked all the grass, spread it with loads of cardboard. I am a cardboard connoisseur now. Everyone in the village collects cardboard for me. And then the farmer actually dumped a load of manure for free over the fence, spread it, put a bit of compost on top. And I found these toys whilst I was doing it, and I thought that was a good omen for a children's garden. And I basically I was about to say gate crashed. I did gate crash the allotments. No, I basically guilt-tripped the village into helping me. So I would be going back and forth with my wheelbarrow, shoveling wood chip and so forth, and they would see me through their window, so they were like, oh, okay, we better go and help her at a socially distant. And then wood chip. So I would find people chip in the side of the A303 and go and flag them down, and within an hour they would deliver it free of charge. And I wanted to create the structure of the garden so that when the lockdown was over and the children came back, they would do all the fun stuff of planting, decorating. A bit like it's like when you've built a house, the fun bit is decorating it, isn't it? So the fun bit for the children. But when I put the wood chip paths in, it kind of looked like a giant cross. And then when we put the frames for the scarecrows, they were like crucifixes. So people were kind of like, what are you doing? But as you can see, we put the beds in. Now, I kind of say children's-sized veg beds are kind of the size of a grave. So they're small, and it means children can plant them super quick, and they can pickle the veg real quick. So it's child friendly because, you know, attention spans of little goldfish sometimes, you want it to be quick and instant. So this is what it looks like. So that was in February 2021, and this was in August 2023, and then this year we expanded. So basically we were one plot in 2021, April 2021 when we started. The following year we took on the plot next door and we got a polytunnel. And then I waited 4 years for this other plot on the other side. This is what it looked like in January, and then did the same, cardboard, manure, and then this is what it looks like now. So, and this is amazing actually, it just shows how wonderful no dig is, because we only hand watered those dahlias once in the summer, and they were absolutely fine in this boiling hot summer that we had. And this is another inspiration of mine. So he's called Ron Finley, the gangster gardener in LA, and he was growing food on a verge outside his house, and he grew bananas and all these amazing tropical plants, edible plants, and he got taken to court because it wasn't his land. And he said, hang on a minute, you let people dump their old mattresses and rubbish, and they don't get into trouble. Anyway, he got lots of publicity, and he ended up buying a disused swimming pool that he turned into a community garden in downtown LA. And look at all the color. I was like, right, that's what I want school beans to look like. If you come and find me later, I'm running workshops down at the Yurt. I can give you leaflets and maps of the school beans allotment because I forgot to bring them now. So school beans. So we started off April 2021 with 3 children attending a Saturday morning club, 10 till 12. I ran it for free for the first 2 years because I thought if I run it for free, people can't complain, and also people will come if you run it for free. By the end of that first year, I had 18 children coming, and there was always an adult helper with me. And then the following year, it was still Saturdays, and then the third year, I started charging money. I was brave. And I now run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after school clubs. So I go and pick the children up from the school next door and bring them over, or parents drop them off. And then Friday I teach at the school and bring them over. Saturday morning 10 till 12. And then through the holidays, we did our first full day club. So 10 a.m. till 3 p.m., 3 days a week, and a Saturday morning club. And it's just, honestly, it's so much hard work, but it is so worth it. It is mind-blowing how it's working. I am seeing it working. 4-year-old, completely accomplished, knowledgeable little gardeners. So when we first started the first session, we had a little meeting with the children, and we thought, right, let's come up with the ground rules to keep everybody safe. And things like, please always walk on the plot. So the children know it's not a playground. This is a place where they are respectful, because if they're running around, they could fall over and hurt themselves, or they could squash a plant. Be kind to each other, ask before picking or eating a plant. So we have a legendary story of a boy who dared another boy to eat a whole chili. They didn't ask me, and his head nearly blew off, and he had to go home for 20 minutes to get more drink. And then, so all the children tell this story. So that's why it's important to ask before picking or eating a plant. And they know that they stay on the plot, so they would never leave with a stranger, because obviously it's an open allotment, but we go through these rules every single session, so they just know them inside out. And we have a jobs board. So the garden guides me, the season guides me. So I write down all the jobs, and then the children pick and choose what they want to do. So there's always an art job, an art activity on offer. Because when I was little, I thought gardening was really boring. But I loved being in the garden. I would play with my little gnomes, I'd climb the tree. And my parents were passionate gardeners. They had beautiful gardens, and they never forced it on me. And I am so thankful to them for that, because it was just this lovely place where I could play, and that's what I want the children to experience at School Beans. So I never force them to do things they don't want to do. And if they want to go and play in the secret den, I say to them, well, why don't you help me pick the beans first, and then you can go. And they're like, okay. So, and then if there's children sitting just doing their art, they are watching the garden, so they are taking it all in. They're learning gardening just from sitting there doing their art. So the best fruit and veg to grow with children, basically anything you can eat instantly. So we don't have a problem with rats or mice, we have a problem with children, because they eat everything. So raspberries, gooseberries, plums, apples, blackberries, strawberries, gooseberries. So we've got Goose Gog Corner, and obviously those are ready to pick in July. So we've got 17 gooseberry bushes, and it is quite, I mean, it's not funny, but obviously they're really spiky. So you tell the children to be really careful, and then they're like screaming, and you're like, well, you have to be careful, but it kind of adds to the sort of danger element. But yeah, they love eating gooseberries. And has anyone seen this variety of apple, Hidden Rose? So we call this the magic tree. So we've got a community orchard, kindly donated by Thatcher's Cider, who gave us the trees. Hidden Rose. So when you cut it open before, it's better to do it when it's earlier in the season. That's what it looks like. And the children are just like, oh, the magic tree. So vegetables, things like that, spinach, rocket, lettuce, kale, they'll eat that straight away. Cucumbers, chop them up into chunks and they gobble those down. Tomatoes, sweet corn, carrots, radishes, peas, snap peas, mange tout and broad beans. And yes, sweet corn never leaves the allotment. They all just eat it fresh on the plot. And then the boys are so funny. They're like little old ladies sitting round podding broad beans. They would do that happily for an hour. So grow veg that is colourful, beautiful, quirky, or massive, basically. So yes, the rainbow chard, kohlrabi. So when I first worked for Charles and I saw a kohlrabi for the first time, I was 34. And I was like, that's not real. And he was like, yes, it's a kohlrabi. I was like, it looks like something from outer space. And so that's why the children think it looks like something from outer space as well, with like antennas. It doesn't even taste that good, kohlrabi, but it just looks good. I mean, it's nice grated, but it's not our favorite veg to eat. And then cabbage leaves look like big elephant ears. And it's just all the textures and I've got, obviously potatoes. Radishes, I'm sorry, I don't really like radishes. I think they're revolting. And they're always like, children are always encouraged to grow them. Some kids like them, but they're not my favorite veg. Onions, yes. And I always encourage children to play with their food. So drawing faces on the courgettes, on the marrows. So some of the children took these marrows and took them home, put them in a pram, took them to the park, sprang them on the swing. The mum was like sending me pictures of these courgettes in bed with their, So I mean, if that's going to get them to engage with veg, brilliant. Pizza parties. So we have just built this summer a pizza oven, and we have pizza ingredients raised beds, so the children can pick all the ingredients and we can make pizza. Rainbow sweet corn. So we grow it in the summer, and then in the early months, so when it's cold in February and March, we light a fire and we make popcorn on the fire. Best flowers to grow with children: tulips in spring and dahlias in the summer. Sorry, I've got so many pictures I'm just whizzing through. And dahlia confetti, so all the dead heads pick off all the petals and we throw them at the end of every session. And it's just even if the memory is like 5 seconds, that's what it's all about. Gardening to help nature. So the children know if we grow lots of brightly coloured flowers, it's going to attract insects. So, and we've got dead hedges, and that's around our Guzgog corner. And then one of the plots is someone's front garden that they don't want, so they've let us use it. So we sow thousands of Peredovic sunflower seeds, which are rich in oil for the birds. So this is what they look like in August, and then the birds come and eat the seeds. We save some of the seeds. Children's garden must-haves. So we've got lots of different areas at School Beans. We've got our rainwater collecting station, so that's teaching children how to save water, and they love filling up their watering cans. Polytunnel, that's a game changer when it rains. It means we've got somewhere we can sit. We've got a work table as well as where we grow our seedlings. This was in August at a holiday club. It was pouring with rain, and we played bug bingo inside. And polytunnels, they don't have to be ugly. You can paint the wooden frame. You can hang it with, we've got jamdaliers, so we make them out of jam jar lids. They just make everything beautiful. We've got a quiet wildlife garden. So we've got a little pond, and we have our secret den. So the children love having some free time in there. And compost really important. It's a bit like Georgia's Marvelous Medicine, making this gooey, lovely concoction. And this is little Lissy. When she was 6 years old, she came up with the name Muddy Buddy. So it's now called Muddy Buddy. And we play compost making games and upcycling. So anything could be turned into a plant pot, a toilet, a welly boot, as long as it's got a hole in the bottom. Instead of an auricular, primular theatre, we do a teapot kids one. Bathtubs are brilliant because they're free. And just bits of wood that I get out of skips and turn them into signs. So I paint them and the children decorate them with acrylic pens. And this summer we did flower hammering, and we've got a canoe that we're mosaicing, that we're turning into a big sculpture. Scarecrows, so this is Bob, John, and Barbara, and they get a makeover every spring. So top gardening tips to inspire children, instant activities. So decorating a tin can vase, go and pick some flowers, instant. Or a milk carton, decorate it, put holes in, go and water the flowers. Oat milk carton, oh, I shouldn't say oat milk carton, milk carton. Come and find me at the yurt. We'll be doing milk cartons, and we're going to be sewing pea shoots that you can take home. We make origami seed packets so the children know all about saving seeds. And number 2, activate all the senses. So hold those slimy slugs, rattle those dry peas, water each other and the plants. And happy hands. So the children know if you put your hands in soil, it makes you happy because of the bacteria in the soil. It releases serotonin in your brains. And so, yeah, they know that, and they tell their friends, and yeah, it's great. Feeding birds. So I want the children to grow up to be adults that feed birds in their garden. So it's just doing that ritual every week. And let children just be in the garden. So it's so important to let them have free time. If there are children that are obsessed with bugs, then that's fine. You go and look at those bugs. And watering. So this was in August when it was really, really hot. So I let them in the final hour. They fill up the wheelbarrows and the buckets with water, and they climb inside them. And then I say, okay, just splash the water on the plants as well. We had a giant bird's nest and dancing in the rain. And yeah, just making, so we've got Mr. Potato Head there. Just making like paper mache giant creatures. Oh, and I let them decorate my car. So my car is about to fail its MOT. So I was like, right, let's get these chalk pens. Apparently they wash off, but it's been raining all this time and it hasn't washed off. But I was like, it's got to be something to do with gardening. So obviously insects, weather, flowers, vegetables, and they went to town, and it looks great. And wheelbarrow rides solve everything. You can bribe children to do pretty much everything if you have a wheelchair ride as a reward. and turn chores into games. So we had a problem with Mare's Tail, and we turned it into the Witch's Fingers League. So the Witch's Fingers are coming out of the ground. You've got 10 minutes to go and pick as many Witch's Fingers as possible. And then the person with the longest gets certain points, the bushiest or the most. And we've got a league table, so they get a secret prize at the end. When it was Slug-ageddon last year, instead of an Easter egg hunt, we did a slug hunt, and they did it. I said, right, I'll put the timer on for 10 minutes. The children did it for an hour. They didn't want to stop. And then I go and set the slugs free in the field next door. And boys will be boys. So boys love to do the energetic stuff. So you want to channel that energy into helping you. So they will do things like shovel wood chip, carry the heavy watering cans. They want to do the physical stuff. The girls are allowed to do this job, but they want to do the more intricate gardening jobs, I usually find. We have a plant stand, so all the children share the veg to take home, and then any spare is left for villagers to help themselves. And yeah, a little grassy area next door was not being used, so this is what it looked like. So I went to 6 months' worth of parish council meetings to get permission, and we got 10 trees, amazing trees from Thatcher's, and now it's just this beautiful place right next door to the allotment. Take the children there. The grass is long in the summer, full of crickets and grasshoppers and insects, and we scythe it as well. And we scythe it, and we actually put the grass around the base of the trees so it keeps the moisture in, and they're doing really well. And we do wassailing, and we make apple juice. And we're about to get to our favourite month of the year, the pumpkin party month. So we pick all our pumpkins, and we dress up as our favourite veg. That's me as a kohlrabi. And we guess the weight of the giant pumpkin. And yeah, it's a really fun. We have storytelling around the fire. And School Beans, we feature in Charles's children's book, which I'm hoping it will be for sale today. It's a really lovely children's no-dig gardening book. And I was happy to see the NGS are here. We love working with the NGS, and we host 2 open days a year in spring and in September. We have local musicians come and play, and the children set up, set up a store. They were selling manky, rubbery old beetroot for £2 a pop. And then I could hear them round the corner going, 50p to hold a bug, 50p to hold a bug. And they were raking it in. So it's also entrepreneurial business skills. And I host a volunteer morning, every Thursday morning, no dig and natter. It is like the exotic Marigold Hotel of volunteering. I have the most amazing, mainly retired ladies come and help me. They do all the jobs that the children would find boring, and I wouldn't necessarily trust children to do. So weeding and things like that. And then finally, I've got 2 more minutes. The residents that live around this garden are really benefiting. And this lovely lady that lives opposite, she's in a wheelchair, and she embroidered this view from her window, and she exhibited it in a local art exhibition that's all about things that has you in stitches and makes you smile. And she said, watching School Beans' local allotment children's gardening club full of cheeky antics, giant rhubarb umbrellas, and armfuls of weird and wonderful vegetables makes me laugh and smile, a huge therapeutic tonic. And because the garden is looking so colourful, lots of villagers come and walk past, and elderly residents, and it's quite amazing what a garden can do for a community. And I run adult courses, and I've got one in October. I teach people at School Beans, if you want to recreate something similar in your own community, then come on down for the day. And finally, I was really chuffed. So we were in the Sunday Times in August, and I was so happy that they used this photo. And it shows our watermelon flag. And we fly this flag, we fly this for the people experienced the most horrific genocide in Gaza. And it's all linked, it's all connected. I teach these children gardening because I want them to have respect for nature and respect for each other. It teaches compassion and empathy, and it is so important that we nurture our children because times are seriously tough and they're getting tougher. And listening to things about AI, and this is what we need to really, really channel all our energy into is nurturing our future generations to care and respect for nature and each other. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. And yes, thank you.
Lara, thank you so much for speaking so beautifully about our theme today, about inspiring the next generation. It was actually incredible, wasn't it, folks? Thank you so much for that. And what a way to end as well. Thank you. You can catch up with Lara throughout the day at the Yurt, where she'll be doing not oat cartons.
Milk.
Milk cartons. So do go and catch up with her. You're over by the Yurt, aren't you? Yes. Up next at the Germination Station, we have Tamsin Westhorpe that will be hosting Niwaki, who are these beautiful tools behind me. The founder, Jake Hobson, and podcaster and editor of Gardener's Illustrator, Stephanie Mahon, will be here in 15 minutes. But in the meantime, go and explore. I recommend the Compost Campus and the Birch Grove. No time for that, but you can catch up with her. There's lots of time throughout the day.
Yeah,
She'll be at the Yurt. So go have a chat with her at the Yurt. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it one more time for Lara Honnor.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.